All right, today is June 1st, 2022, and this is episode 41. And I've already gotten started with some things. I welded in the tailgate cable brackets here, so they were cut from the old, the back rear panel on the old one, and then cut from that one as well and moved into the appropriate space. We got some nice, strong, ugly welds there that will hold. I've already tested it with my body weight sitting on this tailgate. So if those welds will hold that, they're good. And yeah, so now what I'm going to do is sand these areas here where I put the fiberglass cloth and resin, as well as here for support, and strengthen that and close that up. And then I'm going to put a coat of short strand fiberglass on the back side of this panel. These areas here, down along here where I've spot welded this here, get that closed in. Over here, same thing, gotta sand it first, and then the short strand fiberglass. Same thing here. Again, smooth that out. And then, once I get all that taken care of, I need to scuff this up and etch prime the whole thing, because this is a bare metal panel at this point. And do the same for the inside floor areas where there's bare metal peeking through, where it had been sanded. Get that all taken care of with a self-etching primer. And I don't think I'm not going to prime this whole thing. It doesn't really need it, because I'm putting the other than the self-etching primer on the bare metal spots, I'm putting the bed liner, truck bed liner from Harbor Freight. I got to pick that up tomorrow. Putting that down over the whole floor, including the inner wheelhouse, everything inside of the Jeep except for the dashboard. Obviously the window frame too, but except for the dashboard is going to be covered in a truck bed liner. Probably put down 2 coats, and that will take care of that. Of course, I have to, prior to doing that, I almost forgot, I need to seam seal. So that's another thing I'm going to be doing today. So a lot of little odds and ends and so forth. All right, here we go. All right, I'm fixing to cover this with some fiberglass and resin, because while it's welded, decently with those rosette welds, I don't want seam sealer up on this, and I want to make sure that that's nice and closed. I think that's what I did over there. Just that was long enough ago that I don't really remember. But and I got the short strand on that panel where I did the spot welds here. Got it down here and back here. So of course I had to stick an awl through there to make sure I don't lose my holes for the mounting of the taillight. And then I was struggling again with this issue here, this body line, and I really want it to be there. So it's welded down here at this end, and I cleaned that out. And I'm going to clean, after this is dry, I'm going to clean that line right there out. But what I ended up doing is kind of build a bridge type of weld between this panel here and that on this back side, and I'm reinforcing it with this cloth and resin. But I don't want to lose the body seam, and I discovered why I even had to weld down here, and that is because this this mount for the roll bar, or this brace I should say, let me get over here. That brace is welded to the inner wheelhouse, and it's supposed to weld to the outer, this rear quarter panel. But for some reason, there's enough of a gap there that I would have to push in on this panel to get it to weld to it, and it's even worse on the other side. There's just too much of a gap there to weld the rear quarter panel and that brace together. Let me get in here. There's too much of a gap there. I mean, I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, there you can see I'd have to push in on that panel, and if I do that, it's going to contort the body. If I were able to weld to that, then I wouldn't have had to weld down here, but because I don't have that attached to the roll bar support, it has to be welded down here so that panel will stay put. So what I'm doing is I'm reestablishing my body line, only covering over the top where I welded up here to give support, and welded down there. So I'm going to keep this body line. I don't want to fill it in, and so that's what I've decided to do. I just got to let this dry so I can recut up into that area, staying clear of up here. I just bring that much of it back into the body line thing. So that's where I'm at right now, and what I'm doing is doing some last minute cleanup of the floor, just kind of smoothing the fiberglass that I put down, and cleaning it up, vacuuming, and I'm going to wipe it down, and same with the back here, because tomorrow I'm going to pick up the truck bed liner, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to seam seal this here in a minute, and I might put my first coat of truck bed liner on tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it'll be Friday. So anyway, all right, see you guys soon. All right, I just sanded down this short strand fiberglass on this panel, and that section there, over in here, and I've got a little bit of a low spot here, I can tell. I'm gonna have to cover back over here. I got into some of the fiberglass cloth, so I'll just go ahead and skim coat that. It needs some more anyway, because I can feel that kind of rises up a little bit there. So a little bit of finessing to do there. And what I did is I decided to keep my line here, keep my body line. I had to tack weld here, of course, but I can go I've got all the way up, and it stops right at the top here, where I have a weld put in there, and some fiberglass cloth, resin reinforcement. And then on the back side, I also welded it, so it will keep that seam together, because it was pulling apart. It was slightly wider there at the top, and so I was able to use a needle nose pair of vice grips. I'll clean those welds up, but needle nose plier vice grips, and pull that together. And then over here, same thing. I just kept my line, kept my body line that I wanted, and brought it, just cut through the fiberglass right there with my air cut die angle grinder, whatever, cut off wheel thing, and to maintain the body line. So the fiberglass on top, once again, is just to kind of reinforce and to cover over that weld, and I can smooth some body filler, and I'll probably even smooth some body filler across that, sand it back, and then recut my line open, so I've got my body lines where I need them. And same thing here. So I'll go ahead and put some short strand on both those sides, maybe add a little bit back here. I can tell there's a low spot. I think it's down in here. I can feel it, yep. And maybe a little bit right there too. All right, so gonna hit that, let it dry, gonna start seam sealing the inside here. So here we go. All right, I got everything seam sealed. The bottom of the inner fender well, or the wheelhouse, right along that edge there, all the way around. Same on this side. And used one full tube of caulk. It's Eastwood's, I forgot what they call it, but anyway, it's an auto seam sealer. Got it all up along there. Same on this side. And then along the waterfall panel, as you can see. I've never been the greatest at caulking. It's hard not to make a mess of it, but you know, I ran my finger along all of it just so I know I'm pushing it into the seam. So it's not going to matter ultimately though, because the once I put the truck bed liner coating down, you'll barely even see that seam sealer anyway because it's black. So, and then I got the bare metal areas for the most part primed on the floor, and got some short strand over top of this weld seam I had here, just to kind of pretty it up a little bit, strengthen it as well. Same in these areas. This was a low spot, got that put on there. Just kind of hitting the main areas before I start doing the real finesse work, and that is where I've got to prime it and block sand and find the areas that need attention. So I got that closed up. So what I'll do, I'll sand this flat and then I'll recut my seam open right there, so you'll have a seam all the way down the panel. Same on this side over here. Again, cut that open. After I sand it all flat, I'll cut that seam back open again. You know, have a seam all the way down there as well. So that about wraps it up for today. Got a lot done, and I hear a beer calling my name at this point. So beer 30 has come. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Take care.